Good afternoon, and welcome to the Conversation with Al McFarlane. I am W.D. Foster Graham. I am the book review editor for Insight News, and I will be your host today for our Book Chat Thursday edition. The Conversation with Al McFarlane always provides stimulating, informative, robust, empowering, and entertaining conversation. We have recently surpassed 1,400 subscribers, and we are shooting for 2,000. So if you are appreciative and enjoy our content, please do like and share and subscribe to the Conversation with Al McFarlane. Uh, our guest today, and I'm thrilled to have her on this show, is a mental health professional, an empowerment coach, and an author who is dedicated to helping individuals heal, grow, and lead purposeful lives. Known as the self care pusher, she empowers others through coaching, writing, and speaking engagements focused on wellness, leadership, and transformation. As the founder of C2C Coaching LLC and Choose to Change Publishing, she uses her voice and vision to inspire change and guide others toward balance, self love, and lasting success. I had the pleasure of meeting her through the Minnesota Black Authors Expo events and the Black Child Book Fair. So it is my great pleasure and an honor to introduce to you our guest author for the day, Ms. Latrina Caldwell.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Latrina.
Hi.
So how's your day today?
Wonderful, blessed, and highly favored.
I hear you. I hear you. So, so tell us about how you grew up.
Well, I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, on the south side. Very rough neighborhood, beautiful place, but very rough. I can remember we all stayed in one big house on the south side, multiple families, me and all of my cousins, my mother and all of her siblings, and it was just a grand time to grow up there with my great grandmother. My grandmother had went to heaven before I was born, so my great grandmother. And I can remember at 7 years old, I was sitting out on the porch watching everyone play and do different things, whether they were jumping rope or whatever they were doing. And I started writing. I started writing songs at 7. Yeah. So my seed was planted in Chicago, 7 years old. Everyone else is playing with Barbie dolls, jumping rope, or playing with cars, or whatever they were doing. I sat down and I took a photo mentally of my atmosphere, of what I saw. And I was like, I want to write. Yep. So I grew up there. And then eventually I came to Minnesota. I was about 17. And I've been here ever since. Yeah, raised two daughters, and I've done a lot of community work over the past 20 plus years. So, yeah, that's me.
Hey. So, in growing up, who were, who you consider your mentors?
I would say my mom.
Mhm.
To this day, she is my biggest support system and probably one of the strongest women that I've ever met. So it would be her. She always motivated me and encouraged me to do what made me happy in spite of. So it was my mom. And then, like, I liked music. To this day, I love music. I like to feel my spirit. I love praise and worship. And I also truly love just all genres of music. So oldies, I really like to sit back and listen to music. So that was inspiring for me too.
I can hear that because I know I heard my share of some of music growing up,
Mhm.
especially like doo-wop and jazz,
Mhm.
all that. That is
Mhm.
just because from my dad and my mother's
Yeah.
generation, so
Mhm.
that was influenced me. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm talking about Johnny Taylor, Denise LaSalle, the
Uh-huh.
OJs, that's what I grew up listening to with my mom. So yeah.
Mm. Yes, it's interesting you mentioned that because I was just listening to some Denise LaSalle yesterday. It's just,
See?
okay,
See?
Denise. All right,
Yes.
go,
Yes. My mother
go.
used to play her. Yes. Mhm.
Definitely. Now, you say, I got the opportunity to review your book, I Am Her. And
Yeah.
one of the things, yes, yes, your readers, definitely. We'll tell you at the end where you can buy Latrina's book. So so stay tuned. Now,
Mhm.
one of the things that stands out that was stood out for me in that book is the spiritual component. Could
Mhm.
you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, growing up, first of all, we went to church. I'm not gonna say we were forced, but it was just a part of the routine. We went
Hmm.
to church. I think that's big in our culture, right? So our that's the greatest gift you can give your child is exposing them to the word. So that's everything. I started with the word, I'm gonna end with the word. And I understand that Bible means basic instructions before leaving earth. I understand that this guide created for me to live an authentic life and live in my purpose. And I cannot do that without having a spiritual connection with the man upstairs. So that has been what has carried me when I didn't want to be carried. Okay. Because we
I
all have
hear you.
those moments. That's just the truth. We all have those moments. So that has been big. So I can't write, I cannot do anything without incorporating him because I want to give him the glory first and foremost. Right.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
So now, before we came on the air, we were talking a little bit about the organizations that you're in. I just mentioned it briefly in my introduction. Tell us about C2C.
Yeah. So C2C means choose to change
Mhm.
because we have a choice every day to be a better person. And I choose to change every single day. I make it my business to be great every day, be better. I want to learn something new. I know this is my choice and it's our choice to change. So it stuck with me. And I trademarked it quick. I love it because I know what it means to me that I have the power to choose to change. That's important. So that's how I came up with the brand C2C Coaching. It is a kind of a DBA to choose to change coaching and consulting.
Mhm.
But as you grow in business and learn different avenues, like you can't have, certain DBAs or things like that. So that's when I merged it into C2C Coaching LLC and summed it up. And then I took the brand and ran with it. I have Choose to Change Publishing. And again, your voice is going to be heard. You're choosing to change. So you come over here where we can ignite your fire and tell your story the way you want it told and let everybody hear your voice authentically. So that's what I do in the Choose to Change publishing brand.
Yeah, that again, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's say because yeah, at the end, a lot of say what happens becomes something that you mentioned that hey, where we are now or what we do now is going to impact where we are going to be at in the future
Hmm.
and that sort of thing. Now you have been as part of community service for quite some time. I
Hmm.
mean, and because hey, that in itself is empowering. That's when we're giving from a positive uh,
Yeah.
standpoint and from where we are. So tell us about your community service because that's it. Say it spanned over quite some time.
Hmm. Well, I can tell you that I have grown to love it. I don't think it would have been my first choice to be forefront with people. I wanted to hide. But the good man upstairs kept putting me in position to be the voice and be in the front. And I realized and I acknowledged that we needed change. And I knew I had a voice. I knew at 7, right? I had a voice. And I was like, how can I use my voice? And I wanted to use my voice in a way that was powerful and passionate to me, right? Because it's my voice and I know who I am, whose I am, and I know that I have power within myself. So I tapped into different avenues. And because I'm a domestic violence survivor, what a great way to use my voice to help other survivors. I was proof that there's life after abuse, that you can take your power back, rebuild your life, and be the best you can be. I am walking proof of it because if I lived by the domestic violence, I would have been gone. So I didn't let that overpower me because even during those times, I still knew I was someone. So that is what opened the door to tapping into youth and family work. So I went from working in shelters, um, and even before that. So I started from college in Minnesota, but even before that piece, thinking about my train, I thought it was so good. Coming from Chicago with the community service piece, being a survivor, I realized too, I had to take my power back, and I just knew that I could show others how to do it. So it'll come back to me, but I
Sure.
tapped into the shelters. I tapped into the community work. When I purchased my home, I said, okay, I want to do work in this area. I pay taxes, right? I still know I have this voice. How can I use it over here? So I
Hmm.
joined the commission board that works with youth and families, my Pacific board, where I get to stand up and be a voice for people who look like me. I
Right.
realized they were making decisions, and I would say, well, who's running that if it's Juneteenth? Well, who's doing that? I was very humble, but I had a voice, and I
Mhm.
just had to learn when to step up for the community. I'm not doing what I do just for me. I'm on an assignment. I don't even have a choice, right?
Mhm. Right.
So
Right.
I'm doing what I'm told to do. I'm being obedient to the Father because if it's what I wanted, I would hide behind the camera. But He pushes me to be in front of the camera because He knows my gifts more than I do. So that spilled into that community service work. And now I've joined so many boards from the county, state. I've done so many things. I've worked at PPL, I've worked at Hennepin County, I've worked at Tubman Shelter, I've been at Fairview, I've been at Park. Like I've done so much work to give back to the community for 20 plus years. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And how has that manifested over time?
It's been a process because I had to learn that throughout this journey, listen to my spirit when I'm meeting different people or different opportunities. I've had to run from opportunities, I've had to turn them down if it didn't feel right or fit right with my purpose. But the more I stick to my authentic purpose and walk in it daily and continue to remind myself those days when I do have a moment, who you are and whose you are, that's when my manifestations do come alive. Like now, 20 years later, I just purchased my first official office space where I'm
Mm.
not over here, over there, or and it's my space that I pay for. And that was big to me because I want to continue my mission because I'm on an assignment that I have to complete before I leave this place. I'm leaving legacies. I actually have a name, a little nickname called Legacy Latrina because I know I'm a legacy. So, yeah, and it's continuously manifesting. I have a book where I write manifestations 3 times a day. I write them out. I manifest wealth, I manifest good health, I manifest growth in my marriage, I manifest my children healthy, I manifest my mental space, everything. My spiritual side, I tap into all of that. I manifest everything. I write it out, I speak it out because I know it's power in that. So, yeah.
And that's what makes what I read I Am Her so empowering.
Hmm.
And speaking about one other thing that I read was you take us through checkpoints in
Hmm.
this journey. So could you elaborate on those checkpoints?
Yeah. First and foremost, which is when I work with my coaching clients, this is really big. I
Mm-hmm.
tell them you have to do self reflection. This book was based on me authentically doing self reflection with myself, and my journal pages are in there. It's really my authentic life in this book. So the checkpoints are starting with you, that mirror work. I have looked in the mirror and validated my insecurities. And guess what that did? I have a quote. It enhanced my inner securities when I do that. So I validate my inner securities. I look in the mirror sometimes. Oh, look, I don't like this, whatever it may be. And I do that. And I teach other people how to do that, to accept yourself. That's that self awareness, self confidence, self esteem. Those things are important as we go through this journey. So I adapted that and I specifically put it in the book. I went through like a full journey of acknowledging who I am, accepting who I am, and authentically walking in that. So I had to go through those stages. And I feel like everyone does. It's not just
Mhm.
me. I don't know if we're voiceful about it, but I am. Because somebody got to tell the story.
That's right.
So yeah, yeah. So that's those checkpoints, acknowledging and accepting who you are,
Mm-hmm.
whose you are. That's important. It's
Yes.
important.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So one, and so yeah, it's important. It's no, just to be that self awareness,
Mhm.
and it goes from day to day to day.
Yeah. Because you'll get lost in the sauce. You don't want to get lost in this world.
No way.
This is how can I say this nicely? This world, it's horrible. I just got to be honest. So you can get lost in that if you don't know who you are. See,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this world, but I ain't a part of this world, right?
There you go.
Like the word says,
Mm-hmm.
greater that is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So,
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed.
Mm.
Oh, question on that. When say I am her, you say her is an acronym. What's that acronym?
Yes.
Tell me.
To be healed, to be empowered, and to be renewed. Because you have to renew. After all you've been through so much, we go through so much. And then I don't even want to take it to the level of motherhood. We go through so much. So it's like you have to heal. And to me, healing is a lifelong journey. To me, there's levels. I'm still healing. I'm not there. I
Mm-hmm.
will raise my hand. I will be 100% honest. I'm not there. I'm still healing. I'm still learning. I'm 43 and I'm still learning things about myself. But I'm open to that and I understand the process. Everything is a process. So it's that healing and then empower yourself along the way. That's knowing who you are and whose you are. See, I feed my spirit empowerment. I
Mm-hmm.
read different things, I listen to different things, and when I empower others, it empowers me. And then I want to renew. Then it's that renewal stage. It's out with the old, in with the new. I have a quote I created. You cannot be an old you in a new world. You can't.
Amen.
You can't. You can take your values. That never leaves you. That's part of your characteristics. But you have to go with the flow and be a part of what's the change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I choose to change. It all goes together.
So true. So sort of like a quote I heard. No, say you can't change who you were, but you can change who you are.
Yeah, I agree with that. My past don't determine my future.
That's it.
Because if I was living off my past, told you, the abuse I suffered, the trauma I suffered, I would be no good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't let that define me at all. So yeah.
There you go.
Hmm.
Now, in terms of a say, are there like authors stuff that have inspired you along your journey?
Um, there are um locally there's a couple. Um, but it was more so already a seed that was planted in me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just watering it to manifest. So I've learned even as a little girl, I'm not looking at your porch.
Mm-hmm.
So my inspiration comes from the smallest, most different things. Authorhood was already in me, so I didn't even have to look for it. I waited till I was a full grown adult to get into it. And I remember writing at 7 and never left me. So I run from things that now I'm at the point it's like just embrace it and just do what you're told to do. So life is better that way.
So
Yeah.
true, so true.
Hmm.
So, from all your endeavors, what is your goal?
Legacy Latrina. When I'm not here anymore, right? In the physical. My goal is to leave legacies. I want the Caldwell name to speak volumes. I would like for my programs and nonprofit to keep running, my books to keep generating, and the goal is to have a book in every household. I would love that. I have 21, so one of them. From I Choose Me to Walking in My Purpose to Pretty Paid and Powerful to Self Care is a Lifestyle. I would love to have these books for empowerment and healing all over the globe. They're in libraries across this state. So people can go look and see if one of the books are in there. There's several. Um, yeah, that's my goal, that legacy for my kids, my grandkids, not just them, all my kids. I have a Girl Scout troop. Those are my kids. I mentor youth. Those are my kids. So all of my
Mm-hmm.
kids. Yeah.
Oh, so in your publications, what are books that you have for young people?
So I have a leadership journal. So I have one for youth, 5 to 10. It's a ADHD awareness journal. I've learned that the generations after me, um, ADHD, autism, it increased probably by 50, 60%, or we just wasn't aware. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't know. So I'm trying to cater more books to that. I have a book, Zuri Lake Loves Her Alone Time for little ones,
Okay.
and it's about self care. It's a chain of books. There's one on grief, there's one on bullying, there's one on self image and mental health, sports, and siblings. It's a whole series. So they will be out by December of this year, which is each one of my nephews. They are author, and I gifted them this chain of income and this gift from me and my daughters. So that's why it's a series. And I took each one of them, I questioned them, had them write a little bit, and I personalized each book to them. Like my nephew lost his mom when he was 9. He's 17. His book is about grief and accepting that. So, yeah. And then for the teens, I have the leadership journal that talks about what's the next step? How do I accept myself? Who am I? Do I want to go to college? How do I learn about finances? So it's a really, really, I really took a lot of time with each journal and crafted it so beautifully. They come with activities, mindset goals, resources for them. And then I have books, a slew of books and journals from men. I have books for Black men called Men Heal Too. I've seen it with my husband, my father, my brother. Men can heal. So my husband is an author in one of the collaborations. My father is an author in the second collaboration. My brother is an author in the first collaboration. I have decided to dedicate 20 Men Hill 2 collaboration books only for Black men. I'm on book 3, and I have been looking and searching to find 5 Black men to share this story. So, and I like to highlight that. I feel like men, they don't get what they need. I can go anywhere and have a space and have a moment, have a sisterhood, have a
Mhm.
prayer session, any single where. I can be anywhere, it don't matter. It's so much harder for men. So I created a space, and it's a conference that goes with it, that I hosted called Men Heal Too, only for men. I left and let the men do what they do. I recorded it, and it was so inspiring to see the men kind of stand up and be themselves and lean on each other and have an authentic space to do that. So I did that. And then for women, I have I Am Her. I have I Choose Me, because I choose me.
Yes.
And then I Choose Me, I wrote about, it's a collaboration. I wrote about dating yourself with purpose.
Mm.
Most people want to date to get married, or they want to date for some financial gain. Date for you. Who are you? What are you bringing to the marriage? Whatever your marriage is. So, and it's stories about self love. It's stories about the workplace. It's stories about getting in the wrong type of relationships. And that's important. So I choose me. And then I have Walking in My Purpose. Well, I turned 40. I'll be 44 in November. I started the publishing company specifically when I turned 40, and I knew I was walking in my purpose. So I wrote about it. It's really good. It will help others find their purpose. It's already in here. You just got to tap in there.
Tap in
Yeah,
and
that's
then
all. You got
manifest.
to, yeah, tap in there. And the way to tap in, which is key, what do you like? Who are you? What are you passionate about? What makes you happy? What makes your spirit jump? What makes your soul, So yeah. Yeah. So that's walking in my purpose. There's so many. I have Pretty Paid and Powerful. It's 17 of us. It's a collaboration with the Pretty Women Hustle magazine, because I've been writing for that magazine for about 5 years.
Mhm.
If you research me, I've written about 30 articles: marriage, self care, men's wellness, mental health, coping with depression, side hustles for entrepreneurs. It's so many topics. It's a lot of them. And we did a collaboration, and I was able to get 2 chapters in there. And that is everything. One of them is called Grinding to Greatness.
Ah.
Yeah, I tell them it's a forever thing. You don't end. You take a break, and you got to take a break. Self care is a lifestyle. That's why I'm a
Mm.
self care pusher. It's every day. But that don't mean get lazy. That means just take
Mm.
a woosah, and you got to get back to it. We got work to do. So all of the books are meaningful, empowering, and powerful. And they all come from my authentic heart. Everything that I've written. So yeah.
Yeah. And that makes all the difference. And
Hmm.
so, as one who is an author, I can relate that so far as me, writing is my passion.
Yes.
Yes. And so,
Hmm.
and standing in my authentic self as I'm
Yes.
writing and stuff, it makes such a difference.
Hmm.
So, um, now, one thing, I've been at different conferences before and been at different events. So I'd like to ask you, as adults right now, what are some other ways that we can promote literacy with our children, or in terms of, yeah, where children enjoy reading.
Well, I just created, so I have Future Leaders Matter. It's a mentoring program. It goes with
Mhm.
C2C Coaching. And I've had a team of mentors for 5 years that's been working with me. We run cohorts, very structured, based around leadership. Now, I've also created a different cohort for literacy. teaching children how to write books, teaching them how to understand communication with their writing, and that it's a therapeutic outlet. This is a way to communicate with yourself and release all of them emotions and those feelings and things of that nature. So, I'm presenting this program now with the sheriff's department. I met with them last week. I have to go back. But I'm getting out, hitting the floor. We have social media. I love social media. I'm a TikTok girl, but it's not flowing for me. It don't flow for everyone.
Sure.
I'm getting in the street. I'm going to the events. I'm sitting at the school board tables for Robbinsdale community. I'm trying to do ICO. I'm sitting there presenting my programs and being a voice, and I'm telling them, you need to get some new, fresh things in here. The world has changed. You cannot stick to the old way Hennepin County did it or this way did it. No. Let some fresh people come in. Even if it's not me, we can partner up. Let new ideas come in. So these kids like music and they like social media. That's a good way. We can make TikToks about literature. The kids love that, and I love it too. We have to go with the change of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we do it. We can't do it the old way. We can't. You can't be an old you in a new world. It's not gonna work. Not this world. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. But it says the question is, how it's about how we adapt.
Yeah, that part.
Because
That part. And then listen to the kids. They tell you what they want.
yeah.
These kids is different these days. Back in my day, we had to be quiet. You had to be seen and not heard. Now we're gonna see, hear, know, and everything else. I didn't do that with mine. Mine knew. Okay. They already raised in adults. They know. To this
Mm-hmm.
day, they're very quiet, humble young ladies. But these new generation, it's a different
Mm-hmm.
spiel. You got to get on their level. I get down to their level with them. And I also let them know. And I approach it. It's your approach. How are you approaching things?
Mm-hmm.
Let them know when I come in with my books and they see someone that looks like them, that's fun and energetic and has this awesome spirit that radiates, they like that.
And they
I
tap into that.
Yes, I have youth that still text me, Miss Latrina, how are you? How's your dad? We miss you. And because they tap into that, they can feel you. Kids, they smart. There are some smart
Mm-hmm. They are.
creatures, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or individuals. They're smart. These children are different. So I listen to them. What do you want? You know, that's the way to get to them. That's how to get the literacy in there.
There we
Let
go.
them know this will help you. This is good for therapy. This is fun. This is a stream of income. They like money.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it. There's ways to get it in there. Like my youth program, I have an incentive. You earn while you learn.
Ah.
So each assignment you complete, each phone call you make with your mentor, each meeting, you earn dollars. And at the end, they get gifted a Visa gift card from my pocket. I've never
Mm-hmm.
received any donations or help for any program. I'm doing this on my own. I'm still fighting for contracts on the back end. But I realized I can't let that stop me from doing the work. I made it work however I had to do it. And I didn't cry about it. I just did it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And that okay. And that being said, uh, I'd like to like you to say share an excerpt from your book "I Am Her" for our viewers and readers.
Yeah. So I Am Her is 10 chapters. I love all of them, to be honest. But the chapter that stuck out for this right now is called Backseat.
Mm,
That is chapter 4. Now, backseat, and this is for us leaders out here. In order to be an effective leader, you have to know when you need to sit down and take the back seat. And it's okay to take the back seat. I sit at a lot of tables and I have my own tables because I know that I can do that, right? So,
yes.
back seat. To become a leader, one must first embrace the role of a student. It's essential to recognize and accept the value of slowing down and being present in the moments that will never come again. Let go of the rush and understand that patience is a virtue. Personally, I grew tired of repeating the same obstacles, so I decided to take a step back and pay attention to my life amidst the busyness that surrounds us. Here are a few tips to maintain focus. Number one, embrace the role of being in the background. It's not always necessary to be the limelight or take the driver's seat. Sometimes it's important to be a passenger or even take the back seat when needed. Number two, take time to explore and appreciate the world around you, like a sightseer on a journey. These are things that we could have missed along the way, but these are things that the second, the third time back around, you may pick up something new. Number three, keep a notebook handy and jot down important insights. You can use your phone, you can use digital notes. This 2025, there's ways to do it. You can speak it to record. Number four, look around and be observant. Pay attention to the details and the lessons in the world around you. These are things that you can take with you and apply to your life.
Hmm. Well, I see that, yeah, Latrina's just out for a moment, but then just do a recap. Again, she will be back shortly. This is again WD Foster Graham at Insight News, and we are talking with Latrina Caldwell, who is, like I said, community organizer, and she has the organization of C2C Coaching LLC and Choose to Change Publishing, and she empowers with her voice and vision, inspiring change, guiding others toward the balance, the self love, and the lasting success, as well as the gifts of being her authentic self. Spiritually, she trusts God, and that shows up in her work. And uh, manifesting, what's inside has made a huge difference in the lives of so many. So again, we're with her to share I am her. So, and while we're waiting for her to return, I'd like to mention a event that's taking place here in the Twin Cities. It's called Staying Smart in the Park, and that is being hosted by Albert A.J. Briscoe, and that's be taking place now, in this month through the summer. So he is also the founder of To Succeed You Must Read. So it's open to children up to the age of 15. And by all means, hey, it's summer, kids are out in terms of what they do. By all means, go to his website, stompentertainment.com, and he'll give you all the details for this program. Hey, hey, I see that Latrina is coming back on back onto the studio. So we'll give just a moment so she can join us. Well, we will pause for a moment while we bring our guest back. One moment, please. Mhm. Hi, Latrina.
Hi.
Yeah, we had some little technical difficulties there.
That's okay. Do you want to like do another interview or?
Well, I just like to. Oh, since he has some time, I do have some questions. So I
Okay.
need to ask and say, viewers, we apologize for the technical difficulties. But again, we're back once again with Latrina, Miss Sister Latrina Caldwell.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all my authors. So, what advice would you give to your 13-year-old self from where you are now?
That was 30 years ago. I would tell her to love herself first. I would tell her to stay connected to a higher power, stay connected to the word, and be yourself. This is your life. You have the power. That's what I
Indeed,
would tell
indeed, indeed.
her. Mhm.
Um, one quote that I've thought thought about, and it comes to mind whenever I have events in terms of literature and what I'm doing as a reviewer, is this. It's the African proverb that says, "Until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." So, what does that quote mean to you?
Say it again for me. That was so deep.
Okay. Until the lion tells his side of the story, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter.
I would interpret that as until you be who you are, people will walk all over you. That's how I look at that. They're going to keep doing what they've been doing until you create boundaries, let your voice be heard, and be yourself.
That's so true. And I say it starts with sharing our stories.
Yes.
Indeed.
That's why I do. Um, as much as I can, I do. Yeah. I'm gonna start a little series on TikTok talking about empowerment. I've already been doing some videos, but I'm gonna go live just to help others heal, to provide some tips, and they need to see themselves. They need to know this is real. Because if you knew I was a high school dropout, I dropped out in ninth grade in Chicago. I got my GED when I was 27.
Hmm.
When people meet me, they assume she has a PhD, she's this, that, and the third. They don't know my story. We
Exactly.
all have one. But my story is no, I dropped out. I had other reasons, other things going on in my life, even as a ninth grader. I made the choice. I was like, this ain't going to work for me. But it didn't take away from me being intelligent or going back to get degrees now at this point. But I have a journey. So we have to tell our story. We do.
Yes, we do. And
Mhm.
that being said, what's in store for you in the future? And but first, how can our viewers purchase your books?
Yes, very easy. If they go to latrinacaldwell.com, it's my name. Very simple. latrinacaldwell.com. I have a self-care bookstore. I have all of my products, my ebooks, and then you also get gifted the Plant the Seed ebook when you subscribe. It's a really perfected ebook that talks about those seeds we need to plant in life and how to water them, whether it's your personal life or your professional life. Because to me, they go hand in hand. I can't be an effective professional without having great mental health. It's a balance. So go to latrinacaldwell.com. Google Latrina C. I'm everywhere on every platform, and also, of course, on Amazon. So,
Okay, you heard it here, so you know how to reach her, get her books.
hmm
And now you mentioned you have some books, shall we say, in queue. Can you
yes,
tell us
I'm
about them?
excited. First, my mom. I'm working on her book with her called Love and Drama. She has a book about drama. Her and my dad, 44 years together. It's a little cute little story that I've been working on for her. So that's coming out. And then for me, I have one called Her Many Faces, and it talks about how we mask up in life. In motherhood, we wore a mask in the workplace, in marriage, just in life. It's time to unveil, time to take the mask off and be yourself. So I just take you through a journey of stories from a section on motherhood, a section in professionalism, but it's more of a story. So it's real fun. It's about a young lady going through life and she unveiled herself. So then I have one called It Is What It Is. You get to the point in life, that's what it's just, it is what it is.
Indeed.
So I've gotten to that point and I'm writing about it. I think that's a milestone for me to acknowledge I'm no longer a people pleaser.
Mhm.
I'm no longer putting everyone before me. No, right now it's about me. What works for me, what's good for Latrina, and I'm putting myself first in every aspect of my life. So it is what it is. So yeah, it's another story about a young girl that grew up in Chicago, and she's sharing her story, how she crossed the river and got to Minnesota. But along her journey, she had to acknowledge, you know what, life is what it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, so they're really cool stories that I'm working on. So I'm excited. Um,
Well,
I
I am excited for you.
yeah, yeah.
I
One
am.
more quick thing. I never
Yes.
really share this a lot. I do have exotic books for married couples
Yes.
under my pen name Lola.
Mhm.
And there are many stories just about igniting the fire again, the passion in marriage,
Mhm.
and different things like that that I've learned, and I know that other men and women would appreciate. So I do have the exotic line. I put the first book of the series out.
Mhm.
It is on Amazon, called Tales of a Housewife.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, even though I'm not a housewife, well, I'm in the house, but you know,
But you're not a housewife.
no, not at all.
Say none
Mm-mm.
of the real housewives of Atlanta.
Right. They're not even really housewives. They
No,
have to
they're not.
work and do different things too. So, same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we are coming to the close of our hour. So, and Nick, I've had the honor of having Latrina Caldwell with the conversation with Al McFarlane. Any closing remarks?
No, walk into your authentic power and be you. Be you.
There you go. You got the message and the power behind that message.
Mhm.
So that being said, this is WD Foster Graham on the Book Chat Thursday edition of the Conversation with Al McFarlane. And meantime, we'll see you on the next go round.